Hi everyone, this is an introduction to our first Travel for Two episode featuring Barcelona, Spain. There's going to be chapters or bookmarks throughout the entire video, so if you want to skip to certain parts like the food, touristy things you can do in Barcelona, you can easily scrub through the video, including skipping this introduction. But I felt like it was necessary to add this on here to give you guys a little bit of context of why Barcelona, Spain, and why this happened in the first place. Barcelona, Spain has always been on my bucket list, and I told Cam that one day, and it was just a spur of a moment decision of like, okay, let's go. I thought he was kidding because for the most part, usually when you say, oh, this is a bucket list of mine, that's like a few years in the making. But he looked up flights and he ended up booking them. I remember crying, I'm pretty sure, that night. It just in disbelief, like I can't believe it, but that's such a great surprise. That weekend that we booked the trip, we went on Viator, I think that's what it's called, and we started looking at different tours. And you'll see all of that in the video. I'm also going to be sharing the link to those specific tours in the description. You'll get a whole list of all the different restaurants we went to, at least as much as I can remember, and even our Airbnb that we stayed at. How we like to travel, I think that's really important as well. We do a mix of itinerary and spontaneity. So we were there for a week. What we did is we had the day that we get in is kind of our relaxed day, like just taking things slow. Then we have some kind of tour booked. The following day, we have some kind of break so we can just explore, do whatever, anything that maybe we saw on the previous day that we weren't able to get to. That's when we get to do it. Next day is another guided thing. Next day is an open day. And the reason why we do that is because we know that some of these tours, they are kind of rushed to get through certain parts of it. But if we do pick up on something that we want to go see again, we can just use our spare day to go explore that thing that we missed out on or wanted to spend more time with. I'm really excited to share this adventure with all of you. If you are a couple looking for your next trip, I highly recommend Barcelona, Spain. I have a couple tips that you're gonna pick up throughout the entire video, and I'll give you a final verdict if Barcelona, Spain would be a good fit for your next trip too. Enjoy. We decided on the Rambla del Poblenou. I think that's how you pronounce it. I apologize if that is severely incorrect. But this Airbnb was perfect. This kitchenette had all the essentials. There was a fridge. They had a washer dryer, which was a little loud, so we only turned it on when we were outside of our Airbnb. But this was such a comfortable stay. We really wanted to make sure we had a washer dryer since we knew that we would need to keep our clothes clean for the week we would be there. And it had a very comfortable bed. We had 2 separate bathrooms, which I highly recommend because you never know. You just want to have a very peaceful stay. So having 2 bathrooms you can use so you're not waiting on the other person is actually such a travel hack in my opinion. So I would highly recommend it as well. But this is where we stayed. It was right on a strip of restaurants, a 5-minute walk from the beach. And I'll make sure to post the Airbnb link in the description of this video. The food in Spain is very different from the US. They season everything differently, so it might be a little bland in comparison to what we're used to for our American palates, but it just made me feel like the food was cleaner. We had cuttlefish, we also tried their octopus, and we also had some wine during this stop. It was actually a part of the tour that we booked for our Barcelona highlights tour. Let's try it.
Yeah. Is that the squid?
It's grilled.
Wait, is it the squid or? Oh, it's cuttlefish. That's what it is.
Breakfast places open later in the day, so don't expect to get pancakes at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. This restaurant was delicious. It had a lot of good bakery goods. I think the standout was their pancakes. We really liked the portion sizes and we would have gone back if we had more time. There's just too many things. This was on our second tour. Our tour guide recommended that we visit his friend who owns this little storefront in a medieval village called Paratellada. We tried their special mixture of vermouth, and Cam is not much of a drinker, so he didn't really enjoy that.
I'm not a drinker. Someone would appreciate it.
Take my ice cream.
I highly recommend going to Paratellada. It is one of the only or the most well-preserved medieval city. It's just so quaint and unique, and I just love it. We're having a great time.
It's quiet. Feels refreshing. It's not frozen. It's DiGiorno.
If you're gonna try any pizza in Barcelona, Spain, let it be the vegan charcoal pizza from Blu Bar. I was not expecting this to be as good as it was. It's a thinner pizza, so I thought it would be dry, but it was actually perfectly moist and extremely flavorful. I'm not sure if this is a chain, but this specific restaurant, Casa de Pasta, in Barcelona was about a 15-minute trip, and it was worth it.
It's so delicious. It tastes so fresh and homemade. It tastes like you went to an Italian person's grandmother's house and they made this from scratch on a Sunday.
This was a place we decided to stop by after our biking trip, and it was a little disappointing. So the croquettes are really popular here. Go ahead and try it. It's like aged beef.
Yeah, roast aged beef.
See the cross section.
Oh, that's different. Wow.
Like good? Or?
It's like boudin.
Boudin? Can you bring it closer to the camera so we can see the cross section? What is boudin for people who don't know?
Boudin is like rice and meat in a sausage casing. It's very different.
So, as you can see, it's very bloody. So we're gonna take this and put it on this. Do not expect Brazilian steakhouse quality flavor for the meats in this location. It would be a sin to leave Spain without trying a genuine paella. And this is the place to be. Look at this ginormous serving of seafood paella that we shared. Again, this is right down the street from where we were staying on the Poblenou. If you're looking for a real paella, this is where you go. You see that? This thing is massive. Look at it compared to the size of my hand. What do you think about it, Cam?
It's phenomenal.
This is the paella we've been looking for.
This is definitely the paella we've been looking for. I think you can definitely come across some bad ones, but I searched up the best paella you can go to. It's near us.
In La Rambla, Poblenou.
And this had the best reviews of everything around us. Initially, we were going to go to a different one, but they weren't open yet. Luckily, because we wouldn't have found this place.
One thing you'll notice, especially in Barcelona, and probably all of Europe if I'm not mistaken, is that you can find gelato in about every single corner. I swear I could walk maybe 1 to 3 minutes in a single direction and see at least one gelato place. It gets really hot here, so ice cream and gelato is very popular in Spain. Let's talk about the sightseeing. Our first tour that we booked was an Essentials Highlights tour. We were bussed around in a nice air-conditioned vehicle with about a medium-sized group. Our tour guide was extremely educated and went beyond the fun facts and actually got into history.
Well, look at that. Each human, each person has her or his concept about the freedom and the world. Ladies and gentlemen, this technique in art is called optical illusion. But right now, use your phone and camera and take a photo of the wall and tell me, describe me what you see. Take a photo of the wall and tell me.
When you visit the various churches, basilicas, cathedrals, etc., throughout Spain, you might find that there are people who are dressed up and look like characters. Do not go up to them thinking that it's part of the experience. They are expecting a tip. However, the rest of the tour of the Gothic quarter was full of history. A lot of it is very sad, but it's a real part of what happened during the previous world wars. We also got to see original pillars. I believe they were Roman. Our tour guide gave us a more thorough history on it, but all in all, it was really great to have a tour of the Gothic quarter because there's so much to explore. It's easy to get lost. We also got to see a lot of modern art and very interesting architecture throughout the Gothic quarter. My favorite part was looking through the alleyways. They just looked like art. We also found out that George Orwell lived in the Gothic quarter and had a very special relationship with Spain. He even wrote a book about it, which is actually a very popular book that they sell during San Jordi. I highly recommend booking a tour that includes Sagrada Família tickets ahead of time. The line was extremely long, but it is worth it. The absolute artistry and devotion that was put into the design and build of this basilica is just jaw-dropping. There's an entire museum inside of it where you can learn more about the architecture, the history, and the genius of the artist Antoni Gaudí. The back of the basilica shows the crucifixion story.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will explain about the map of Güell Park for two reasons. The first reason to show you how it's possible to visit the highlights of Güell Park in 1 hour. The second reason to don't be lost.
All right, Cam, so what are we hitting at this park within an hour?
So this is Park Guell. I could just showed you Gaudi's house. He's the artist for
The Sagrada Família.
exactly that. He's the artist for that, and that's his house. That's where he lived at. This park is supposed to signify nature.
This has been a really great tour.
Oh, there's so much. We've seen so much.
Our tour guide is an assistant professor of tourism here in Barcelona. This tour helped us understand the beauty, history, and what makes Barcelona so special. Enjoy this compilation of our time in the park, and then we'll move on to our next tour.
Can you read it right above my head? What does it say? G. Eiffel. So this bridge, built in the 1877, was in fact built by Mr. Gustav Eiffel. So the idea was to test the iron and the same material that he was planning to use for the tower in Paris with this bridge. So this bridge was eventually a success.
This was my favorite tour of the entire trip. It was pretty much a private tour. It was just us and one other couple, but we hit some of the most gorgeous places I've ever seen in my life. He drove us around in a van and went through so much history at every spot.
As soon as we're going to step over that line, we're going to be completely offline from the world. So this is part of a digital detox. No internet connection, no pharmacy, no town hall, no mayor, no school, there's nothing. If you plan to settle here, you need to be kind of prepared.
Self-sufficient.
Yeah, self-sufficient. The closest supermarket is 20 minutes away. Closest big hospital is in Girona, 30 minutes away from here. So, vamos, come with me. So the plan here is that I'll show you briefly the village, and then I'll give you some free time to just soak in the vibe.
Nice.
This preserved medieval village was one of the most memorable parts of the tour because it felt like we were transported into a completely different time period. There were a lot of cute little shops here, and he even had friends that lived in the village. You can grab lunch, a couple drinks, or even genuine leather goods in the village.
Collect all the olives and
What's the water like?
again, this is the square. It's called the oil square. This is where they used to collect all the olives and press. So These used to be the storage, and these are the stairs connecting with the apartment, which is actually...
Welcome to Costa Brava.
In April, the water in the Mediterranean is cold, but the weather is great, so you can still tan. There's a couple gelato places, some restaurants, and also some souvenir shops at Costa Brava. If you plan to make a trip to Montserrat, do it on a group tour. It saves you the headache of trying to figure out transportation up and down this mountain. And it honestly was just nice being an air-conditioned bus with a drop-off and a pickup time. We rode the funicular. I recommend that you do a round trip and make sure that you're in the front of the line so that you can see out the window without fighting over a crowd to get the best views. Take a hike once you're up there and then visit the church once you go back down. If you take the funicular first, you're gonna have enough time to do everything else. You'll be able to eat, check out the Black Madonna, go explore the church, and you could even check out the boys' choir. Now, there's a lot of history with the boys' choir. It is a very rigorous selection and training process. They have scheduled performances inside of the church, and it was definitely a sacred experience. You can check out the church after the performance. Here's a little clip of it. Now we're on to Cameron's favorite part of the trip, and that was visiting Camp Nou to support Barcelona at our first ever football game.
This is crazy. Wow.
Wow!
Oh my god. Look at the lights. This is like the warm-up before the World Cup.
And we get
the
to
US.
see this in Spain. We're in freaking Barcelona, y'all, for our first game.
I'm speechless. Speechless. Barcelona, baby.
Oh, sorry.
Shit. Barcelona, baby.
San Jordi is Spain's version of Valentine's Day. There's books, there's flowers and dragons. Traditionally, men receive books and women receive flowers. It was a really beautiful occasion. There were so many flower shops that popped up, but there were a lot of crowds, so just be aware of that. Because Barcelona is so pedestrian friendly, renting a bike is one of the best ways to explore it. They have designated bike lanes, so make sure you are not biking on the sidewalks. If you're new to this style of travel, just start with 2 hours so that you can get used to how the roads work. Cam surprised me with this one. The House of Candy is a great place for photos and releasing your inner child. It's an interactive exhibit.
Gummy bears.
Every room is a different experience where you're either taking photos or you're doing an activity.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Fluffy dreams. Whoa.
We spent a lot of time in this bouncy house. It kind of felt like an insane asylum, but instead of wearing the straitjacket, you are bouncing around in a fluffy straitjacket. Make sure you're wearing something cute for all the photo ops.
So you can like change your outfit. Oh my gosh.
We were lucky to have been one of the only people that were going through the House of Candy today because we got to spend a lot of time doing random stuff. But I felt like if there were more people, you would feel a lot more rushed to get through it.
So, oh my gosh. White rabbit. What the heck? What?
Rabbit was another immersive museum, very similar to House of Candy, except it was more about immersing yourself in Spain's music, art, and culture. So if you're less about photo ops and more about this kind of experience and immersion, you'll probably get more out of White Rabbit. Our favorite part was this immersive art room. Stay for the entire show. Barcelona, Spain was a little bit out of our comfort zone, but because we were more experienced travelers, we were confident about the way we organized this trip. Even though English wasn't the first language, we got most of our local tips and advice from the tour guides that we had. Barcelona is also very walkable. You can get anywhere on foot, on bike, or on the subway. And their subway system is very organized, very clean, and easy to navigate. Restaurants do open a little later in the day. Coffee is very popular, but it's pretty simple. You either get a coffee with milk or an espresso. There aren't really a bunch of places that offer fancy lattes unless you go into a Starbucks. People are very to themselves here in Barcelona. And when you are picking a stay, make sure you are nearby restaurants and that you are in a good walking distance from the nearest subway station. Thanks so much for watching. If there's anything that I missed or anything you're curious about, leave it in the comments. And if there are enough questions, I might just make a part 2.